My name's Sean Pennell and I'm a technical support assistant for Rhondda Cynon Taf. So I was in school and I chose my job because I didn't really have the aspiration of going to university. Didn't really have the mindset of going and studying because I thought I'd done my GCSEs, my A-levels, so that was it. I don't want to do more. So I thought, right, I'm gonna have to go and work. So I chose the apprenticeship because I liked the fact that it was advertising a job that I was interested in, civil engineering. So I applied for the job, managed to get it, and I've been here 5 years now, ever since. So I'm enjoying my time here, clearly.
My name's Simon Pritchard. I'm Senior Engineer for Roads for Rhondda Cynon Taf. Me and my team, we look after all the roads and footways for Rhondda Cynon Taf. So that's the sort of larger repairs that are going on the roads, the condition of those roads, and we assess them and we program those repairs and ultimately pay for those repairs.
So you need to be quite an open person considering you work with the public a lot. Being able to speak to people and deal with tasks that revolve around the public. You're also going to need interest in engineering because there's no point doing the job if you don't have an interest in it. But other than that, yeah, just emphasise the fact that you need to be a good problem solver and also being able to speak to the public and being quite open is essential.
Qualifications within any of the teams in highways can vary. You know, we're a very wide spectrum of services that we do. So there's a lot of drainage services, there's structures like bridges and walls, and there are the construction type roles in terms of the roads and footways, those sorts of things. So there's a wide gamut of qualifications. Very useful qualifications are engineering qualifications at degree level. Maths is nearly always very useful. Physics is nearly always very useful. I think showing that you've got that sort of background is useful. Again, different qualifications depending on how you come in. If you come in as an apprentice technician, I think having that maths background and showing you've got the ability to learn as you go forward is good, because often the organisation will give people that opportunity to learn and to do day release and work experience and do stuff through colleges and universities. If you're coming in as a graduate, then we're interested in what you've specialised in as a graduate. It's around what field in engineering, whether that's structural or, again, drainage is more and more of a priority all the time. What we're looking for apprentices when they come in, so somebody like Sean, is we're looking for a certain minimum standard in terms of academic results. So we're looking for 5 GCSEs at A to C grades, but we'll be looking for a B in maths. We need that maths really to be able to move on with what you're going to do later on. More than that, we're looking for a certain sort of level of keenness and interest in the work that we're doing. It's important to be able to engage with people. We'll all often be engaging with the public, and sometimes we'll be talking to them about things that they're frustrated about. There's issues that are going on, and you need some of those soft skills as well. Having said that, we do realise that people coming in, the younger people coming in, sometimes that's something that they're going to develop as they go along, and we give that opportunity. There is like a mentoring process that we go through as part of the apprentice process. I think the apprentices, they speak with senior management on a periodic basis, reviewing their progress. They've got a constant mentoring then with a more junior member of staff that's sort of in between, and those skills will be developed as they go along. The important one is you need some of that maths background really to be able to just do all the day-to-day calculations which we'll be doing.
So in my job role, I was tasked after following Storm Dennis to carry out monitoring to structures like the one you see behind me. So my task every month is to come out and inspect the structure to see if any further damage have been occurred to it. So what I'll do is I'll arrive on site, I'll inspect the structure for all the defects noted in the previous assessment. So the defects like that could be the scour to the foundations, cracking in the abutment wall, cracking in the utilities, general bulging of the abutments and stuff. So I'll come to site, I'll inspect every single last piece of the structure to make sure that it hasn't deteriorated further than the previous assessment before. So I do this for a number of structures every single month following Storm Dennis. to make sure that they're all safe. Structure you'll see behind me is Barrow Road Bridge. We've had to close due to scour to the foundations. We're currently working on it at the moment to repair the scour to the foundations, so we've got contractors in to complete concrete pour works and foundation repair. Due to this being a listed structure, we couldn't do any repair works that were subject to difference to the original design that it was implemented. So that would mean that when this bridge was put in, we can't do any repair works to it that make it look like that it is changed. So we have to repair the structure to make it look identically like it was when it was first put in. So that's given us a bit of a struggle really with regards to the repair works we can do to it. So we've had to have specialist contractors in who have agreed to complete the repair works. So a listed structure is a structure that is of importance to historical value. Being that this structure was put in and is listed for being one of the first ever reinforced concrete arch to be put in Wales, it is obviously under historical value. So obviously all the stuff that we do to this bridge then will have to be exactly how it was when it was first put in. The scour to the underside is so extensive we've had to close the structure. We've closed it obviously for pedestrian safety. So we've currently got contractors on site now to do the repair works, and they will be here for a number of weeks to make sure that we can open the bridge to the best of standard. And obviously, like I mentioned before, being a listed structure, we have to make sure that this structure is repaired to exactly how it was when it first got installed. Once we've done that, then we can reopen the bridge to the public, and it'll save a lot of time and for people getting across into Trallon from the Ynysybwl side.
So there's a number of ways you can come in. There's, as people coming into the lower part of the organisation, or for younger people coming to the organisation, there is the apprentice scheme. So apprentices come in, they go through a technician type role, and that then takes them through a college course that gives them the grounding that they need to choose where they go on in their career later on. There's also a graduate scheme, which I think RCT have been really successful with over the last 10 years probably, and we regularly have graduates come in. I think every year graduates have come in, and they come in for a 2-year period. They do a project management course as part of that, and then they often, very, very often, find a place within the organisation as it goes on, because we look in to keep those people. There's also Network 75, which is something that's done through USW, and it's a 5-year course where someone does a degree, and then there's an element of work through that right throughout that period. I've got a student with me at the moment who's doing 2 days a week, or more than that now that we're out of term time, and they're doing their degree, but then they're having real practical work experience as part of that. So they are the 3 ways that come in with education involved.
So the training that I've done and to the job I'm doing today, so when I apply for the apprenticeship, you've got to do 2 years level 3 in, I did mine in Bridgend College. Then once you've done your 2-year level 3, most will come out of the apprenticeship, because it's only a 2-year apprenticeship at that stage. Then you'll come out of your apprenticeship, you'll start doing your HNC. Once you do your HNC, then I did my HNC in Bridgend College also while I was a technician. So I'd applied for a job then after 2 years of my apprenticeship, secured the job, done my HNC for 2 years, still currently studying. So now I'm just completed my 1st year degree, and now there's an opportunity for me within the next couple of weeks to move up the ladder again now to become a senior technician. So the training is in-house, so you'll do, RCT will arrange your asbestos training, your mantle handling training, to make sure that you've got all the skill set you need and the training you need to complete the job. The salary that you get doing the job I'm doing, you'll do your apprenticeship, which you're on a minimum wage. Once you've completed minimum wage, then you'll move to a technician pay, which is then a 10 grand. At the time it was a 10 grand pay, it was because I was under 18 when I started work. Now, so like I said previously, that I got an opportunity now to move to senior tech, which is 2 steps up the ladder from apprentice, and that also is like a 7 grand pay rise. So that's where I am currently, but where I'm aspiring to be is, once you go from senior tech, then you go to assistant engineer, which is another 5 grand. And then the pay jumps in the council are very, very good. So hopefully one day I'll be this grade 11, grade 13 engineer that's taking £50,000 plus or whatever, but I got a long way to go until I get there, but that's where I'm aspiring to be. There's constant jobs in RCT that are coming up which you can apply for, so yeah, it's a really good place to be actually.
So in terms of the recruitment process, what we're looking for with the apprentices is different potentially to what we're looking for later on in somebody's career. The council on a wide basis looks at a competency-based approach to appointing jobs, but that's not necessarily what you're looking for with apprentices. With apprentices, what we're looking at is people's potential, not necessarily what they've done at the moment. But again, we are looking at that, that math space. So the council advertises apprenticeships twice a year. Not every department takes up those options twice a year, but I'm sure we've taken apprentices at least once a year for over 5-6 years now. I think the vast majority of those apprentices are still with us and are all actually doing really well, which I think really shows the success of the scheme from our point of view as a department, certainly. So when we advertise apprenticeship jobs, we advertise them widely. There's a shortlisting process that picks people out based on their academic background and the other things they've told us about themselves. They then are invited in for an interview process where there's questions and they have that chance to interact. But there is actually a maths test as part of that. And it's not a difficult maths test, but it's to show us how people's mind works and where the sort of spatial awareness and the mathematical awareness is there, even in its smallest foundation at that point for us to build on as we go forward. From that, then if further interviews are needed afterwards, people will be asked back for further questions. But that's the interview process and the selection process for apprentices.
The best aspect of my job would be, for me personally, I'm not the individual that can sit at a desk 5 days a week. I need to be out on site. I need to be doing something manually. So, but my job is very, very good with being quite 50-50. I have a lot of site visits I need to do in a week, and I have a lot of admin work that needs to be doing. So some days I think to myself, oh, do you know what, I don't really want to go out on site today because I want to stay, it's raining or something. So I'd be in the office and I would do the work in the office, and then when the weather breaks, I'd go on site and do the work in there. But obviously if the weather's terrible and I still got to go on site, I've just got to bite my lip and go out, but yeah, it's the best part about my job is the fact that I've got a really good balance of office site work, and just the work I do is so interesting. Like I in school, I come out with the mindset of, right, I know I want to do engineering, I know I want to do civil engineering, and there's such a vast difference in the things you can do in engineering. It isn't just civil engineering; is everything. It's roads, highways, it's structures, it's buildings, it's so vast, and my job is just so interesting. It's the best job ever, honestly. Well, I think it's the best job ever anyway. I enjoy it so much. I don't enjoy it as much now as what I used to when I was in the office, when I was working with the team, but I'm sure I'll get back there one day. It's 100%, you've got to apply for it. Just the interest in the job, the pension scheme, the fact that the job security, the way you can work your way up in the council as well. It's just, at the moment I can't see myself working anywhere else, put it that way.